We're live. Good morning. Dr.
Good
Kiltz is getting
morning.
live everywhere else. Everywhere
All
else.
right. Instagram, Dr. Kiltz, Kiltz Money Tribe Live, and of course, YouTube, Facebook. And we have the awesome, amazing Alia, Dr. Nelson, and today's guest is Healthcare Joff from down under Australia. Welcome, our friend. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on board.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And Dr. Nelson, how are you this day?
Doing great.
Awesome. And Alia.
Fantastic.
What's the
Right early.
hashtag today, and what's the gift?
The hashtag is hashtag Joff, and the gift will be Kiltz Health Electrolytes.
JOFF. And for those on Kiltz Mighty Tribe or Dr. Kiltz Instagram, you got to come over to YouTube, Facebook, at least for a minute, a second, a moment to put in the hashtag and get the Kiltz electrolyte mix. And yes, it has a little bit of that stevia stuff, and we are coming out with one without that.
That's right.
But you got to stay tuned. We're revamping our molecular fertility and our Kiltz Health supplement brands for everyone. And what do you have to say today, Joff?
Oh, I just want to say, good evening here from Brisbane, Australia. We're on polar opposite sides of the world, but as you said earlier, opposites attract. So I'm really glad to just be here, soak in, the presence of you three and just share what I can, my knowledge, my experience, my insights. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to, a good conversation.
What's your local time over there right now?
So right now it's 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
in Australia.
So
yes.
You're 14 hours ahead.
Yes.
It's Monday. It's Monday evening, right?
Monday evening, correct? Yes.
Cool.
So, yeah,
well, we're I'm in upstate New York. Dr. Nelson is in Central Florida, and Ali is in Colombia.
That's right.
South America. And Joff, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you got into this keto carnivore health coaching environment.
Yeah, so really, if I were to pinpoint back to when my journey started, my career as a registered nurse played a huge part in where I ended up today. So, I'm a 33-year-old from Brisbane, Australia. I've been a registered nurse since 2010. So I've been working as a registered nurse for 15 years. I got into my career because I wanted to help people, improve their health and well-being. But when I entered that world, I came across my health problems. So immediately on the get-go, I had my first ever blood test done. I was, fresh out of high school, 18, and the doctors looked at my blood panels. My cholesterol was high, and he asked me, "Well, do you have a family history of heart disease?" I said, "Yes, I've got pretty much from my dad's side, the males all had some sort of metabolic disorder, whether it's diabetes, heart disease." And immediately he's given me an ultimatum. We've got to treat this while you're young. You are genetically prone to getting heart disease. So either you go on medications or, you can fix your lifestyle. And so, as an 18-year-old, I'm going to pick the latter. I want to see what I can do to prevent this. But it was always in the back of my mind that what the doctors said, it's in your family. There's nothing you can do about it. So I guess you could say the medical gaslighting started quite earlier on in my life. Throughout my 20s, it was always about trying to lower my cholesterol, trying to, follow the advice of what the doctors had told me, which was eat a low-fat, balanced diet, lots of veggies, plenty of fiber, minimize the saturated fat intake. And, I did that, I'd like to say to a T. because I, saw dietitians. I put myself in, I bought a gym membership and I fell in love with the gym. I did everything that the doctors had told me to do. Yet every year I came back to the clinic, I'd get my blood panels done. Your cholesterol's still high. So every year I kept thinking, wow, I think this is probably what the doctors meant. Your cholesterol is predetermined. It's going to be the fate of the future outcome, which is heart disease. So I didn't lose hope, but at the same time, I was slowly, just succumbing to the fact that I was going to go on medications, before I was 30. There was nothing I could do about it, and I was getting symptoms quite earlier on in my life of metabolic disorder. So I had hypertension pretty much in my early 20s, which progressed to me being medicated and being treated for hypertension before I turned 30. And at one stage, I just said, I'll bite the bullet. I think I just need to go and take these medications earlier on, before I hit the age of 30, so that I could get on top of this. But things just kept getting worse. My life just kept spiraling. My health kept spiraling. I put on more weight. I really fit that category of being under that statistics of you're gonna have heart disease at this stage in your life. And so I, at my worst, I was very hypertensive, about 180 systolic with the blood pressure. I was obese, about 220 pounds. I'm 5'4". So I was a short, rotund fellow, and yeah, it really just took a toll on me mentally as well, thinking that whatever I did, it just wasn't working. And I really felt like I was just going to die quite early. It was just, I drew the short straw in life. But fast forward a bit, as I was reaching 30, which was around a time when the world went haywire over an event that basically sent everyone isolated from the world, stayed into their homes. And that got me down into a deep dive into, watching YouTube videos to find out what the heck was going on with me. Is this really it? I guess you could say I didn't give up hope. I held onto something, thinking that there is an answer to this. And the keyword inflammation kept popping up. All right, inflammation. So I kept looking at inflammation, heart disease, metabolic disorder. It all falls under this umbrella where inflammation seems to be at the root of the issue. Unfortunately, though, that led me down a path of going plant-based. And so I tried, I guess the plant superfoods that would help with lowering inflammation. And this would come into a cost, which I'll get into in a bit. But then my health still didn't improve. I wasn't losing weight. I was still on medications, but a very long documentary stuck out to me, which a friend of mine sent and told me, you need to watch this. It was by Dr. Robert Lustig, Sugar the Bitter Truth. And I watched it. It sounded a bit far-fetched because throughout my whole nursing career, I was always, I guess under this impression that glucose or carbohydrates were essential and we could not survive without it. And so the concept of eating a low-carb diet seemed, I don't know, red flags. I should stay away from this. But the more and more I looked into it, it was, I don't know, I was convinced. So one day I decided to give low carb a go, and lo and behold, I was losing weight. I reached out to my friend and said, hey, this is actually working, this low carb keto thing. And then, in the algorithms online, these doctors started popping up. Dr. Paul Mason, he did a talk in Low Carb Down Under about fiber, and it's basically a not required in the diet. And I thought this was even crazier. Like, okay, I'm cutting out carbohydrates, or I'm cutting it down to a point where I'm basically ketogenic. But to cut out all plant foods, that is just insane. At that time, that's what I thought. And I don't know what it was, but I bit the bullet and I decided to just say, hey, look, let's just go and try it. Let's go carnivore. And I did it. I decided to go carnivore. And boy, the results from there just took off. I can't explain it. But the weight loss was one thing. This here, the mental clarity, that was just out of this world. I didn't realize I was stuck in this fog, this brain fog all my life. And now that I've just cut out the last bit of vegetables and fruits that I was eating, it made a whole huge difference in my life. And about 6 months down the track, I lost about close to 90 pounds.
Wow.
What else happened? My heart disease symptoms, the hypertension, the palpitations that I was experiencing, the angina, chest pain that I would get on occasion, all disappeared, all gone. Things that I never knew I had. So, I always thought it was normal to have reflux or to have, a bit TMI, but, sitting over the toilet for prolonged periods of time during the day. I thought that opening your bowels more than once a day was normal. But on carnivore, I just felt everything, the inflammation just ease off, and my gut just felt like it was functioning a lot better. So yeah, it was, I experienced so much during that short period of time in 6 months that I knew I hit jackpot. But that came to a bit of a bittersweet realization that while I'm experiencing all these health benefits, I want to tell the world. I want to tell my patients. I want to tell other nurses and doctors. But then the reception of that wasn't the greatest. Yes, people were happy that I achieved what I achieved in this way of eating, but it goes against what the mainstream advice is, which is to eat a balanced diet, avoid saturated fats, eat plenty of vegetables, and I was doing none of that. So yeah, that spiraled me down to getting into health coaching, because that's where I really want to help people, which is to really target those who want to change their lifestyles and hopefully prevent them from being patients in my care as a nurse. That's sort of everything in a nutshell.
Awesome. And coaching.
Yes.
And the idea of doctors, nurses, you got to stay in your lane. Is where do we put coaching, sort of in the standard healthcare environment? Do you think?
You know what? I used to think that the frontline workers were the people who dealt with direct patient care. So your nurses, your doctors, people at the clinics, they were your frontline healthcare workers. I no longer see it that way. I think front lines it should have started before that. It should have started at the homes, in people's kitchens, on their way to work. All these things, the front lines should be at the person's individual, situations, and we need to do something about it there. And I think that's where coaches are most handy. I think coaches are frontline healthcare workers, really. That's my view on it.
And maybe Dr. Nelson could comment about this. I mean, in like yourself and myself, and in sort of our standard training. And plus, we've sort of been taught that internet, social media, Google, Dr. Google is inaccurate and should be limited, restricted.
Yeah.
Comments?
Mute. You're muted. We can't hear you.
I just didn't want to interrupt with the sounds. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's such a difference between access of information from the time we started training to now. Everybody has the same information. We may have a little bit more experience putting it together, but definitely when people do their own research and they find the information, they are able to sometimes become very, very well educated in, at least in that particular area where they are dealing with their own health. I like it. It can be a double-edged sword, but I mean, I can't say enough. It's great. And you and I today, Dr. Kiltz, we kind of use the same tools others have available to do most of our research. Now, going to the library today is almost, and I say almost, we go to the virtual library, because going to the actual library, pulling a book from a shelf, it's probably already 10, 15 years old, that information.
Yeah, so access is for everyone today on these devices, and some of our smartest people out there are actually not doctors, not PhDs, not graduates from a university, but human beings that now have access. It's kind of like when the Bible was first written in other languages other than Latin. It's like, oh my God, you mean everyone can read this? Yes.
Yeah.
I had a question from let's see, from Andy chatting on Instagram. Just started carnivore and have bad constipation 1 weekend. Is this normal? You want to take it, Jeff?
I'll take. Yeah, sure. I'll take that one. I think constipation can be due to many different factors, but for the most part, you'd have to look at your fat to protein ratio. Depending on how much fat you're including in your diet. It can be ameliorated if you just up your fats a little bit more, but in my personal experience, I tend to find that I had the opposite problems on the spectrum of your bowel movements. Whereas constipation, that could be, I think it's largely to do with fat intake, but it also could be due to how long you've been on the carnivore diet too.
So, I always ask the question, what is constipation?
Oh, yes. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
Well, I always think so. I mean, again, everyone's bloating, pain, diarrhea, or not going. Is it really inflammation? Because I find on carnivore, I go once or twice a week and no more blood, pain, bloating. And so is that constipation if I only go once a week?
Yeah, the frequency, a lot of people complain about constipation. It's a common complaint in a doctor's office, and this is not exclusive to carnivore. Okay, so it is a common complaint. Whenever you change a diet, you may develop diarrhea, constipation because of whatever the change of diet it is. It's not an exclusive problem to carnivores. But when you go very low carb or carnivore and you're not having fiber, you might decrease your frequency. Just decreasing your frequency is not a problem. Now, if you're having a hard time passing stools, if it's very hard, if it's causing pain and bleeding, and that's constipation that I need to worry about, because I don't want you to be suffering to try to just go to the bathroom. But a lot of people are concerned about, well, if I don't go once a day or 2-3 times a day, I'm that's bad for me. So anyways, there in our website, if you're not a member, go to drkiltz.com and sign up for free. We happen to have some information on that, because I have it open on another screen right now, one of the possible side effects, and you can read some more information there. But what do you normally, if you think it's actually constipation, because I'm sure, Jav, you get this problem from your clients, what do you tell them if they're having a hard time passing the stools, and it might be painful, it doesn't come flowing? What do you tell them?
Well, I think, and that's where I talk about the fat in the diet, because it might be due to a lack of saturated fat in your diet. So I think I think I've read a comment that might speak a bit closer to my mic. So I think it might be to do with increasing the amount of fat in your diet, and that could be easily done by maybe just adding some butter, maybe a tablespoon of butter with your steak, but also keeping up with your fluids, electrolytes, salt your food, and I think it is going to be this change in your norm. And I think that was put very well. What is constipation really? Because if you're not experiencing strain or difficulty in passing your stools, then there is no issue. You're not feeling any discomfort, you should be fine. But if it's more of a mental adjustment to it, there are remedies out there that you could do. But back to the point about what is constipation, if it's not causing you any distress or any harm, I think it's best to just understand that this is part of the process.
And remember, when you're eating carnivore, everything you're eating, the majority of is absorbed into your bloodstream.
Yes.
When you're eating plants, the plant complex carbs and fibers are non-digestible. So the question is, why would you eat non-digestible things? That is not our diet. And so we're used to a bowel movement a day or more, which is completely incorrect. The colon's job is to store until it's full, and then it relieves. So our time to fill is a lot longer. And you're no longer fermenting in the colon. Remember, those bugs in the bowels are not your friend. This probiotic stuff and a good bacteria and bad bacteria is another faulty science to basically make us sick. By 2 cents.
I'm just going to jump in real quick. This weekend is the Yuma, Tennessee event. Last call to get your tickets. I'll put the link directly in there, but the link is also pinned in the chat. And tonight we have Courtney Luna on our Zoom call in Kiltz Mighty Tribe, 5:30 Eastern. Come on over.
The amazing Courtney Luna. And get your tickets. Come on down. Love to see you at the Healing Humanity event in Yuma, Tennessee, with Dr. Barry, Carrie, and Adam. But most important is that you're there. And last minute show ups, sure.
Absolutely.
Show up.
Sounds so fun. Sounds so fun.
Oh yeah. I'll be in Melbourne. In 2 weekish, the 26th, for the Carnival Live. Excited about that. Looking forward to meeting my good friend, Coach Joff, and others that we're going to share healing humanity around the globe.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to it. I think these events, I encourage anyone who is on, involved in, or not, even if you're not involved in the carnivore community online, it's a real event to actually speak to individuals who have done the same things that you've done. It's yeah.
Well, which really is the critical part of what we're doing as more and more people are seeing a new way and healing. It's a game changer, and as you know, coaching is the new the new medicine. It's through coaching.
And who's doing coaching these days in Kiltz Health?
Dr. Nelson, and we're recruiting more coaches, more volunteers, Kiltz Mighty Tribe, and it's just a global expansion that we want to keep healthcare costs low, and one of the best ways to do that is eat carnivore.
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
Very exciting.
Exciting stuff. Yes.
I think I had at least one question that I found. Let's see. Norse Carnivore. Hey, Jock. Great to see you, mate. What's the one thing you could tell someone who's considering carnivore?
Why are you considering it?
Why are you
Just do it.
That's the question.
Just do it. I mean, honestly, what's I think that's what I ask my potential clients. Why are you considering it? Tell me about your story. I think this is the beauty about my nursing background. I like to assess. I like to get to know you. That's the fundamental of nursing, to me, in my opinion.
Yeah,
is to get to know your patient, client, person that you are looking after, and potentially that might be the case. And it starts with a good conversation. I think people are curious to start it, but don't know how. And so I'm happy to always just guide them to point them into the right direction, or to offer them my help if they would like that.
I have a question. Is there certain types of people that should do carnivore and certain types that should not?
That is a good one. I think potentially, and this is just generalizing, that everyone can do carnivore, but it's totally up to the individual. I mean, if you're coming into it with skepticism and you're not, fully into it. Well, I say that too, but I was skeptic, and I did the carnivore diet, and it turned out to be a life-changing thing. No, I think everyone can do a carnivore diet. Absolutely.
Everybody, because
I think you have to be, if you want to ask yourself a question, can I do the carnivore diet? You should ask yourself, am I a human?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've always been out of this world, though, just in my mind.
Love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Anne, this is Anne's question. Auntie, are there any scientific studies to show the impact of high-fat diet, either keto or carnivore, on helping to heal nerves?
The answer is
Diane
yes.
Ladd.
Yes.
Diane Ladd is the
Yes.
scientific study.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Plain. It's called stories.
Yeah.
We are culturally, evolutionarily speaking, a story. The problem with modern science, it's gotten us in trouble. If you think about it, we've relied on the scientific journals, which are highly regulated by the companies and the people who control the message and who pay the bills, right? And so ultimately, the Bible is the book of the ages of humanity. The scientific America, you're going to take it to war? Nah, ain't doing. And so, really, what we're saying here is that a lion that doesn't eat meat is meat.
Yeah.
It's a good point. We have one more question so far. Brandon Staples, my family doesn't know that I'm mostly eating meat now because they think only meat is bad. How do I tell them how it's helped me if they ask?
I eat mostly meat. Say it again. I eat mostly meat. I'm a lion. I don't need to follow the herd.
No.
I stalk the herd.
I think most people just need to get it out the system the first time. I think once you've told someone, it becomes easier to tell the next person. At the end of the day, in my experience, people don't really care so much about what you're doing. I mean, yes, they care about you as a person, but at the end of the day, they're not going to go out their way to, stop you from doing what
Right.
makes you feel good.
Right.
And he's asking, how do I tell them how it's helped me if they ask? Well, you're the first one who knows the benefits. Just point those out first. Tell your story. If it's helped you in any way, that's the first place to start. Just start with how it's helped you, and just tell them your story. By the way, there are plenty of scientific studies regarding low carbohydrate, high fat diets helping multiple brain conditions, and we can go a long list of things. More things are coming out regarding psychiatric, metabolic psychiatry. That's the brain. And all the degenerative neurological disorders, that's the brain. Do we know that high-fat diet helps people with epilepsy? We've known for over 125 years. There's studies about that. The first diets for diabetes, hundreds or if not thousands years ago, were mostly fat because it was the only way to extend the life of some people and not cause basically an early death. They didn't know the difference between maybe type 1 and type 2, but hundreds and thousands of years ago, they knew that if you got diabetes, and it happened to have been type 1, not that they knew it, but you were probably going to die if you didn't change the diet. So sometimes the studies and the evidence is minimized because what? Because I don't have a drug to sell, and if I don't have a drug to sell or to prescribe, there must be no treatment.
Yeah, and I think the N equals 1 is underlooked as
Right.
a potential way to back up your position, because what is an N equals 1? Well, it is a data point. It's one person. It's your experience. And so how many N equals 1 do we have of the carnivore diet right now? I'm sure we're at the thousands. So there are plenty of people. Yeah.
Hundreds, millions.
Yeah.
Nobody's an average.
No.
Nobody is an average. You're a data point.
Yeah.
And ultimately it's saying be you. But I don't know. It may be hard to convert to carnivore, but it's the best thing that I think you're saying is out there.
Yeah.
Are plants required in the human diet? Do we get something from plants we don't get from animal meat that's better?
Nope. Nothing.
And what poison is in ribeye steak?
Not having it is the poison.
Yeah. And so the goitrogens are plants that cause thyroid damage. I call them tumor gens. They damage every cell of our body. And are plants live organisms that want to be eaten? We got Love Blom from Kiltz Mighty Tribe. Hello from Sweden. Sarah Spacklin says, this is how health food companies go for the jugular. Bowel health is the jugular, right?
Mhm.
That sells all kinds of potions. You have to have a bowel movement a day, right? If you're not, something's wrong. And that's that's a big one, right? How's your BMs?
Yes. I can attest to that as a nurse. That is the one question we will ask all our patients every single shift.
Oh, wow.
Have you opened your bowels today? What type? In the Bristol Stool Scale, how are your emotions? Oh, you didn't move today? Here's an aperient. Here's a tablet or a drink that will help you open your bowels. Yeah, it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
It happens to be, and you can confirm this, I think, Jeff, whenever a patient gets admitted, the admitting physician will give you a routine set of orders, like
Yes.
they put these orders on everyone because they don't want to be bothered with colds, right? And
Yes.
one of them frequently is if the patient, is not moving the bowels or whatever the language is. If constipation, you can give milk of magnesia or
Yes.
a list of things. I mean, don't you see that
Yes.
frequently or used to? Because are you still working as a nurse?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So that's part of the routine things, right?
Yes.
But you got to move every day.
Yes.
Well, you got to move every day. If we spend most of our day focusing on poop, we wouldn't get anything done. The beauty is your poop will store in the colon until it's full. The problem is we're eating mostly non-digestible products. And the plants ferment in the gut and make alcohol, which is deadly for humans.
Exactly. This is a Dr. Kiltz question to say, is the liver the only organ which can be insulin resistant? A can of worms has been opened.
So this term insulin resistance, it sounds to me like insulin's not doing its job very well. But is there a high incidence of obesity around the globe?
Yes.
There is. That sounds to me like insulin's doing its job, which is making fat. And fat is made in the liver. As the liver is damaged, the ability to convert sugars and amino acids to fat slows. So now your sugar amino acid levels rise, more glycation and oxidative damage to cells of your body. And so the liver, and my good friend Coach Lisa will attest to this, it's the liver. And I think Dr. Siwas was talking about the liver also. I bet the liver is the cause of most of our problems when we talk about insulin resistance. And I believe insulin's job is 99% to make fat. That's it. And not in fat cells.
Now Amy has a question based on that answer. So if vegetables are stored in the liver that is toxic, that becomes alcohol, how do people that don't drink get diagnosed with fatty liver or cirrhosis of the liver?
Well, the plants are poisonous. They're highly poisonous. Look at the United States Department of Agriculture's Journal on Plant Poisoning for Domesticated Animals, which are damaged and severely damaged. And ultimately, the liver makes fat, but you ferment in the gut, and fermentation makes alcohol, which also contributes to liver damage. A fatty liver, again, the liver's job is to make fat. And so it makes it and stores it, and then it circulates very low density lipoproteins in order to deliver amino acids, simple sugars, fatty acids, minerals, and vitamins to every cell of your body. So a severe cirrhotic patient they all develop type 2 diabetes, but they're skinny. They're not fat. Why are they not fat? Because they can't make fat. And I would tell you, the simplicity of the human body is more amazing. We've been duped with a bunch of complicated metabolic pathways that they've studied in a petri dish. That just is not how the human body works, in my opinion.
Yeah. And to throw into the mix as well, you've got fructose. That's another, pathway which you could develop liver cirrhosis, fatty liver, etc.
What was that? I'm sorry, Jeff.
Fructose metabolism. So fructose itself is an issue.
It's a sugar. It's a plant sugar.
Yeah.
Plant sugars are poisonous for humans. Yeah.
Brian's question, I thought fatty liver isn't healthy for humans. I don't think you're saying fatty liver is healthy for humans. I think you're saying the liver's job is to make fat.
Yes.
Well, but who amongst us eats one meal every 3 to 5 days?
Dr. Kiltz.
That's what lions do.
Oh.
That's what pumas do. There are many carnivores around the globe. They eat but once a week. And so they eat, remember, the lean meat. So all cells of all animals contain both sugars, fats, and proteins. All meat contains sugars. And plant sugars happen to be more toxic than animal sugars, but they still require a liver and insulin to make fat. Because think about it, type 1 diabetics that get no insulin, are they fat or skinny?
Yeah, skinny.
What are they?
Skinny.
Skinny. How come?
Yeah.
Because they can't make fat. A cirrhotic, cachectic, sarcopenic, they can't make fat. I mean, in general, the standard diet, is it a high-fat diet or a low-fat diet?
It's a low-fat diet.
It's a low-fat diet.
Low fat, yeah.
Right. And your body wants fat or you die. And is obesity a pathologic condition or is it physiologic advantage to survival?
The latter.
Yeah. Right.
I want to take a shot at Mike's question. Mike, so obese people have a healthy liver usually? I don't know how obese.
No. In general, not.
Yeah.
Because that's a good one. Mike's great. So again, if you're obese, and I don't know what the right amount is to be obese, but you usually got there because of a standard diet. Because how many people on a carnivore diet find themselves obese?
It's not that the obesity is causing the liver damage. It's the liver damage and the obesity are being caused by the same cascade of events.
100%. The plants. A plant protein low-fat diet is deadly for humans. But again, the first spot of storage is the liver, because if everyone's eating a fruit, fiber, vegetable, seeds, and nuts diet and there's no fat there, how are they getting fat?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something wrong with their insulin?
No.
Is there something wrong with their liver? No. There's something right with it. It's just that what's the general habit in your rehab department for feeding people? How many meals a day?
3 meals a day plus snacks.
All right. So 6 eating times a day, right?
Yeah.
They're grazing animal. Now, in this rehab center, are they laying in bed most of the time?
Most of the time, yes.
Okay. So I'm feeding you 3 times, 6 times a day, and you're laying down all day. Is that conducive to what lions do?
Not at all. I mean, if I can help it, I try to get him up and get him out and get some sunshine. But
Yeah, but what are we going to do? I mean, there's nothing to do. Like, we're doers.
yeah,
And we've taken the doing away from humanity, because who's hunting and gathering anymore? Nobody.
nobody.
We've made I can't remember, the book is Comfort Crisis. Basically, we're too comfortable, are we not?
Yeah, I agree. I think we're too comfortable, and we are over. We're in a surplus of resources, really. Food especially.
But evolutionarily speaking, were we prone to be hyperphagic in the environment of abundance?
No.
Yeah. Because
And
food was scarce.
Did we have abundance to the point that we have today, 365 days a year?
No, we didn't.
Did we have access to the amounts of food? And I don't think we did. We probably, when we found food, we ate. And I'm sure when people had food, they ate until he couldn't eat anymore.
Really couldn't. Yeah.
But there was probably times when they were also forced to wait for the next meal, the next time you had the access to food before you could eat.
Basically, there's only one place for the food. It's in your stomach, and ultimately on your subcutaneous and intra abdominal fat storage. Because without that, I mean, there's no food. Food in your stomach is not food. It's only fat. Because without insulin or a functional liver, you're dead, and nobody eats raw fat. In general, that's a very low diet for even us carnivores. Most carnivores eat cooked fat, which is not the same as raw fat. It's kind of interesting. I mean, what do they feed at the hospitals you work at, Joff?
So it is a very standard Western diet based on your dietary guidelines, which are quite universal, really. I don't think there's much variation to it, in any countries nowadays. So it's very standard, mixed macronutrient diet. I would go as far as to say very plant-based. Just knowing what I know now, there really is a lack of animal meat and animal products in what we feed people in hospitals.
Do you personally do any fasting?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So I would. So typically, I eat one meal a day, and that is to me, I don't consider that fasting. I may do a full day without eating sometimes, but I've never gone anything past that. The most I've done, I think, is about 40 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're restricting the amount of times you eat a day. So for the rest of the time you don't eat, you're restricting your time without feeding.
Yes.
And not everybody needs to fast, but you're saying once in a while you do skip that one meal a day, right?
Correct. Yes. I will likely on my flight to Melbourne. I probably will do a fast, just because I try to avoid any foods that I that I get going out and whatnot. So if I can control what I eat, that's most ideal for me. So airports aren't the greatest options when it comes to the meats that are good for you. Although I don't know how people do it. What do people do when they travel? It's quite
Don't
interesting.
I actually fast myself before traveling. Just minimizes the amount of time I might need to go in a hurry to the bathroom when I I'm supposed to be getting on a flight or something like that. So
Right. Okay. Okay. So I'm in the right sort of mind frame.
Yeah, but I typically will do 2 to 3 days of no food every month, 5 to 7
Okay.
days quarterly. It's just because it's a practice. My bet is that we experienced lots of fasting over our evolution
Yeah.
because finding food was not easy, and we're hunters, and so I do typically one meal a day at night. And again, it's not required, as you said, but it's like food freedom. It's like I don't have to eat. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's quite surprising too when you think about it. Going days and days without food, you start to feel less hungrier. Actually, in my experience.
Yeah. I think that's one of the best things ever. I mean, fasting is a spiritual practice that we need to focus on our spiritual practices. That is something that I think we're forgetting because we're spiritual driven in so many ways. This is a spiritual endeavor, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
I just want to say I did a little mini meetup with a family here that's carnivore in Colombia. And the dad healed his psoriasis from fasting for 40 days. And he referenced Buddha and Jesus Christ as his reference points for the fasting. But he had it his whole life, all over his body. And now he does carnivore to keep it away, and other problems. But
what did he have?
By poisonous plants.
Psoriasis, I probably said it wrong.
Oh, psoriasis.
Yeah.
Boom.
All over his whole body. So he learned about fasting before carnivore. So he fasted for 40 days. Then it got
Talking
rid of
about
it.
fasting, yesterday I had a nice meal with homesick Buckeye with Russ Mitchell, and I had decided already. I was halfway through explaining this to Dr. Kiltz the other day, and we kept talking about something else. And anyways, because next Sunday we'll be in Yuma, Tennessee, I decided I'm going to try my first 7 day. I've done 5 days. That's the most I've done. So yesterday, my last meal, I'm thinking my next meal is going to be next Sunday. Someone wants to join me. If they want, we can do it together, but we'll see. We'll see if I make it 7 days.
Nice.
That'll be amazing.
Let's see. There were 2 questions here. One was from Amy.
Amy had a question on here it is.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe who wants to take a stab at this one? Dr. Nelson, Joff. It says, Amy Haas, if my cortisol measures are good, what is waking up every night from 2 to 3 and not letting me go back to sleep? Plus I'm hungry then as well.
God says, get up. listen, read, write. You're a writer. The best times I have are like 2 to 4 in the morning. It's quiet. Nice. Nobody there. I take naps intermittently through the day. I don't think most animals don't sleep 8 hours straight, which is all another bunk message. This idea, I like wake up in the middle of the night. Well, get up and do something. That's what I always say. And read something. I always read. Reading, listening, watching, moving, building, painting, something.
Love it. I like reading in the middle of the night also. There you go. Next, Kate Sprague. How do you minimize muscle loss when fasting more than 24 hours?
I don't know how you'd measure that.
Oh, simple. All right, a bear hibernates for 6 months and gestates. How much muscle mass do they lose? 0.
Not much. Yeah.
0. What's the building block for our bodies? It's your adipose tissue. Resistance work is how you build muscle, if that's what you want. But most animals don't work out. They just be them. And so I don't think you're losing any muscle. This is a fallacy. It's another lie.
I think you'll go through your fat stores before you start using up muscle for.
Well, you don't. Once you're done with your fat stores, you're dead. Remember, because you only burn fat for energy. What animal lives through all their fat and then goes to their muscles? And when their muscles are done, where do they go to next? Nothing.
Yeah.
They're dead.
Okay.
Because your muscles are there for you to move. Your fat is there for the energy of your body and the building blocks. See, we've misdescribed adipose tissue. Like, which adipose tissue is bad for you, and why? Visceral fat? What does your body make that's harmful for you? Is there anything your body makes that's harmful for you? I can't think of anything. No.
So it must be the poison we're putting in our bodies that's harmful for the body.
That's literally, that's all it is. I'm sorry. I know I'm a little nuts, but way nuts, right? You know, the science has just confused everyone, and we spend most of our time on complicated pathways and, glucose is your energy. It's so important. But what if all of that is just a scientific snake oil propagated by the Rockefeller Institute?
Oh, okay.
In order to domesticate all of us.
Makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
We got to do the giveaway for the Kiltz electrolytes. # Job. We're gonna do that because we're almost at the hour. So
wow.
Please toss that in there.
Mike says, I rarely fast. I do. It's 2 days dry fast. Otherwise, I eat because we have access to food in modern times, and I'm happy about it. I just buy healthy food. Mike, what's healthy food? I hate the word healthy food. I never use it. Healthy, organic, clean. The moment I hear that, I'm like, someone's marketing something to me.
Oh dear.
All right, I'm gonna hit the button. We're gonna give away. Time to give away. Oh wow,
Yay.
Thomas, Target Prime Rib. Good for you. You have my email, I believe.
Oh.
And you have my, you know how to reach me and Kiltz My Tribe. Please send me your address, and you'll get your electrolytes. Yay!
And I want to thank all of those on Instagram. Lots of questions. I think we just have to do an Instagram live where all we're doing is getting the Instagram team, because I think, and that's why I'd love to be able to get these up on this same focus and go through a lot of these. How can people find you, Joff?
So I'm at Health Coach Joff, all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. I've also got a YouTube podcast called Steaks with Mates, which I've recently just started. So, if you can't find my name, I mean, that's another thing you can look at, my new podcast.
Right. I'm going to put your YouTube in the chat.
Thank you.
And people could go to drkiltz.com or drkiltzmeetups.com. Is that it?
It's I'll tell you right now.
The singular.
Kiltz Meetup.
Kiltz Meetup.
KiltzMeetup.com. The first meetup you're going to see is Boston, and in the corner you click and you see all the other events for the year. There you go. Sign up for Boston.
Yeah,
Tickets
sign up for
available.
Boston. There's still some stuff left at Yuma, Tennessee. It'd be good. We'd like to see everyone there.
That's
These
this
meetups
coming Sunday.
Sunday, right?
Yeah. Dr. Berry's gonna be there.
Yep.
And
That's
Dr. Kiltz is gonna be there. Don't miss
And
it.
Dr. Nelson is going to be there.
Anita says, consider compiling all of our questions. They're really good to just, all the questions are out on our website, Dr. Kiltz, and we're compiling all of those in order to go cues for Kiltz and Nelson and Alia and Bob, all of us around the globe. That's the beauty. All right.
Okay, everybody, we love you.
Thank you for being here. Love you. See you tonight.
Bye. See you at 5:30.
5:30 p.m. with Courtney Luna. Love
That's
it.
right. Awesome. Hasta
Love
luego.